The movie opens in Belle Reve Penitentiary, where a convict, Savant, sits in his break room intently bouncing a ball. Just after he kills a canary by strategically throwing the ball at it, Amanda Waller, an intelligence officer, walks in and pulls him out before his stipulated break time is over. She assigns him a mission in exchange for a sentence reduction and is taken into a lab where an explosive device is implanted on the base of his skull to ensure he follows orders. And if he fails to do so, the explosive device will be detonated. Savant is assigned to Task Force X, infamously known as the Suicide Squad, along with Blackguard, Captain Boomerang, Weasel, Mongal, Javelin, the Detachable Kid or TDK, and Harley Quinn. Led by Rick Flag, they travel to Corto Maltese for their mission. Upon arrival, the team is airdropped from the helicopter into the water amidst Weasel's protests because he doesn't know how to swim. However, no one can understand what he is saying. Weasel soon loses consciousness, but Savant brings him to the shore of Corto Maltese. However, he pronounces Weasel dead as everybody on the team makes their way onto the land. Savant notices the team in position while Blackguard walks out in the open, announcing their arrival to the mercenaries and of his role as a mole, but still gets his face surgically removed by a high-caliber round. Flag asks Waller's permission to retreat, but she is reluctant and orders them to proceed with the mission. Harley gladly accepts and goes into blasting mode, while Boomerang uses his signature weapon to cut off some soldiers' heads. TDK detaches his arms, but they prove ineffective as he uses them to smack the soldiers, baffling his own team at such incompetence. The mercenaries retaliate and shoot TDK and Javelin dead. Mongal tries to tackle the helicopter but soon regrets her decision as it sways and crashes and Mongal is burnt to death. Meanwhile, Boomerang becomes a pincushion before being minced by chopper blades, and Harley and Flag go missing. Savant witnesses the chaos from a distance and, terrified for his life, yells and starts fleeing the beach. Waller warns him to return to his position, but when he doesn't adhere to the instructions, Waller detonates the explosive in his skull and it blows off Savant's head, killing him instantly. Waller then sends her second team to control the situation and finish the job. We're then taken 3 days earlier, where Waller and her team came to recruit Robert Dubois, aka Bloodsport, a deadly mercenary who can turn anything in his hand into a weapon. He is serving a sentence for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet. Bloodsport refuses to be a part of the Suicide Squad initially, but Waller has leverage over him and takes him to meet his teenage daughter, Tyla, who is in trouble for stealing. As they talk through a glass window, Tyla makes sure to remind Bloodsport what a terrible father he has been. They argue for the majority of the time they're talking, but when Tyla tells him that she might end up in prison and Waller can help her out if Bloodsport is willing to go on the mission, he rushes to threaten Waller into releasing his daughter, but ends up complying to Waller's orders. Waller takes him to meet other recruits, Peacemaker, a deadly mercenary who can turn anything in his hand into a weapon, but who thinks his work is better than Bloodsport's, King Shark, an underwater descendant of a shark god with a taste for human meat, Ratcatcher 2, daughter of Ratcatcher 1, with abilities to control rats and catch them probably. She keeps one of the rats named Sebastian close by. And there's also Polka Dot Man, a man with an unusual genetic disorder whose specialty is throwing weaponized polka dots. Waller briefs the team about Corto Maltese, a small island nation off the coast of South America, and also tells them that the Maltese government was overthrown by General Silvio Luna and his right-hand man, General Mateo Suarez, in a violent military coup, and the Herrera family that ruled the nation were executed publicly. They are running Jotunheim, a Nazi-era scientific experimentation facility where they are conducting a dangerous project codenamed Project Starfish. Their sources reveal that the project pertains to an extraterrestrial creature that can prove cataclysmic for America and the world. The team is tasked to infiltrate Jotunheim and destroy every trace of Project Starfish. To help them in their mission, Waller briefs them about Dr. Gaius Greaves, or the Thinker, the geneticist in charge of Project Starfish. The recruits are assigned to find him and get him to help them infiltrate Jotunheim by any means. In the present, Team 2 reaches the other side of the Corto Maltese beach, where the struggle continues. Harley somehow saves herself from the bullets and lands near Javelin, who entrusts her with his javelin. Before he can say anything else, he passes away, leading Harley to slap him and ask why he wants her to carry his weapon, but gets captured by the military. Team 2 decides to rest for the night and continue the mission the following day, but Bloodsport is woken by Sebastian, who wants him to help Ratcatcher 2, who is about to be devoured by King Shark. Bloodsport takes control and subdues King Shark, and, furious at his behavior, Ratcatcher 2 summons all the rats of the jungle, which makes Bloodsport jittery, and he reveals he has a phobia of rats. The situation is soon under control, and Ratcatcher 2 even offers to become friends with King Shark, which Bloodsport thinks is stupid. They are soon contacted by Waller and assigned the task of rescuing Flag, who was taken by the enemy. The next day, they start their journey and reach a base camp where Bloodsport and Peacemaker eliminate the entire base while competing with each other via creative kills. The other team members follow, and they find Flag having tea with Saul Soria, a dissident and the leader of the freedom fighters they just killed, mistaking them for Luna's men. The freedom fighters are trying to take Corto Maltese back from Luna and Suarez, and even though the squad eliminated Sol's people, she is ready to help them infiltrate Via Del Mar to apprehend Dr. Gaius Greaves. Meanwhile, Luna and Suarez meet Dr. Greaves in his facility and observe the giant starfish alien creature that Dr. Greaves has been working on for the past 30 years. In the meantime, Harley is brought back to Luna's mansion on his order, as he and the people of his country have admired her anti-American fervor. He goes on to the length of proposing to her, and initially, Harley is wooed by Luna's charm. After making fierce love, Luna tells Harley about the beast in Jotunheim. He admits that now that the beast is under his control, he can use the beast to eliminate whoever opposes him, even if it means eliminating the children. Just as he finishes speaking, Harley shoots him dead and has a meltdown about her bad taste in men and how her exes made her life hell. She is soon taken into custody by Luna's men, and Suarez is next in line to become the new president. Somewhere in the jungle of Corto Maltese, Team 2 makes their way with Sol. Polka Dot Man has glowing cysts all over his body, and he reveals his mother was a researcher at Star Labs and was obsessed with turning him and his siblings into superheroes. She infected him with an interdimensional virus, and if he didn't expel the dots twice a day, the dots would eat him alive. He also sees his mother's face in every human, which helps him direct his anger towards the enemies. They soon meet Sol's connection, Milton, who helps them disguise and takes them to a bar called La Gatita Amable. On their way, Ratcatcher 2 asks Bloodsport what led to his fear of rats, as he constantly keeps his distance from Sebastian, despite the fact that Sebastian recognizes the positive qualities in Bloodsport. Bloodsport reveals that his dad once subjected him to punishment with rats, which instilled in him an intense fear of them. When he inquires about her affinity for rats, she shares that her dad not only imparted to her the skill of manipulating rats, but also emphasized considering them as part of the family. However, her father was ensnared by substance abuse and died through an overdose when she was just a young girl. Ratcatcher and Bloodsport promise to get each other out alive. The squad, except King Shark, enters the bar and drinks and dances until they spot Thinker. Bloodsport approaches him and threatens him to come along, but before they can leave, Suarez's army barges in looking for any Americans. I mean, technically everybody is. Bloodsport entrusts Ratcatcher 2 and Polka Dot Man to take Thinker out through the back door and distracts the army by turning himself in. Flag and Peacemaker do the same and are apprehended. Once outside, Ratcatcher 2 and others are joined by Milton and King Shark as they flee. It doesn't take much time for Bloodsport, Flag, and Peacemaker to get out of the military's confinement and join the others to rescue Harley after learning she is alive and is kept captive. At Suarez's base, Harley is being tortured by Suarez and his guard, but she doesn't budge and pretends to pass out. Once Suarez leaves the room, Harley takes the guard in a leg choke and snaps his neck. She then steals the key from the guard's pocket and frees herself. Equipping herself with guns and plenty of plot armor, she shoots her way out, killing anybody who comes in her way. She tackles half the army in the base before coming upon Javelin's javelin and slaughters her way out. She sees Flag and Bloodsport sneaking around and being as stealthy as a submarine in a parking lot. She appears in front of them and can hardly contain her emotions when Flag tells her they came to save her. Together, they brief Thinker about their plan and make their way to Jotunheim. Once inside, Peacemaker and King Shark plant bombs while Tinker takes Flag and Ratcatcher too to see the beast. They are baffled to see a humongous alien starfish that Thinker calls Starro the Conqueror. Starro also emits smaller starfish that attach themselves to human faces and take over their bodies like zombies, and there are slews of corpses that Starro has taken over all over the facility. Thinker also divulges that it was the American astronauts who found Starro and decided to weaponize such a powerful beast. Since a blatant display of such power wasn't possible in America, they made a secret deal with the Corto Maltese government to conduct the illegal experiments there, which Americans secretly funded and hired Thinker to oversee it. Flag can't accept being part of such treachery and decides to collect the hard drive that contains all the evidence against the American government and leak it to the press, but is shocked to see Peacemaker point his gun towards him. Waller had Peacemaker as backup and specifically instructed him to make sure the drive is destroyed. Suddenly, the premises shake because the explosives go off a little too early. The roof comes down, knocking them off, and when they gain consciousness, they see Starro's chamber broken. Starro attacks Thinker and tears him apart before splattering him on the glass. Peacemaker and Flag continue fighting, which ends in Peacemaker stabbing Flag in his heart using a broken sink piece. Ratcatcher 2 witnesses it all and grabs the hard drive before fleeing, but is chased by Peacemaker, who catches up to her and is ready to shoot her. We're then taken 8 minutes earlier, where Bloodsport spots Suarez and his troops making their way to the facility. Bloodsport rushes out with Harley, Milton, and Polka Dot Man, while King Shark gets distracted by a huge aquarium where small, colorful fishes mimic him. While escaping, the military attacks them and kills Milton, but when they retaliate, one of Polka Dot Man's board game tokens hits one of the explosives, and it goes off, causing a chain reaction and triggers the other bombs. The impact also breaks the aquarium, and the little fishes escape and start leeching on King Shark. They try to survive the crumbling facility, but King Shark falls down several stories and is shot by the military waiting on the ground. The gunshots don't kill him, and he bites the officer's head off. Up in the crumbling facility, Bloodsport survives, going through many floors before he lands on the same floor as Peacemaker and witnesses him ready to eliminate Ratcatcher 2. He immediately shoots at Peacemaker, and so does Peacemaker, but Bloodsport's bullet pierces through Peacemaker's bullet and hits Peacemaker in his neck, bringing him down. Ratcatcher 2 updates Bloodsport about the hard drive and how Peacemaker turned against them. Bloodsport secures the drive, and Harley and Polka Dot Man soon joins them, but they have to run to save themselves when Starro chases them out of the facility. Once outside, the military starts firing at Starro, but it releases thousands of mini replicas of itself and takes down the entire army, including Suarez. As soon as the other military general gets the news of Suarez's demise, he declares himself the president, but Sol and her team take down the remaining men to take charge of their government. Soon, the army, taken down by mini starfishes, suddenly gets up and starts following Starro towards the city. Waller contacts Bloodsport and declares the mission is over now that the facility and all the evidence incriminating them are destroyed. But something stops Bloodsport, and he turns back to save the people of the city, abandoning the mission, and the remaining squad members follow him. Waller goes into a frenzy and is about to detonate the explosive device implanted in them, but one of her subordinates smacks her unconscious with a golf club. The other subordinates start guiding the squad through the city, and Bloodsport takes the leadership role. He asks Harley to take the high ground, makes King Shark go nom-nom on the starfish, and makes Polka Dot Man imagine Starro is his mom. Polka Dot Man manages to injure Starro's leg but gets crushed by it, and King Shark gets thrown into a building. In the meantime, Ratcatcher 2 summons practically all the mice of the city that start attacking Starro. She cries and she remembers her time with her dad and believes her father would have been proud of her. Harley helps by piercing the javelin through Starro's eye and making way for rats to eat the creature from inside, and finally saving the city. The squad's bravery is broadcasted on television, and Tyla acknowledges her dad as a hero. Bloodsport contacts Waller and tells her he has uploaded the footage from the drive on a secure server, and if she tries to kill any one of them or sends his daughter to prison, he will send the evidence to the media, to which Waller reluctantly agrees. King Shark miraculously makes it out alive, making Ratcatcher 2 run towards him and embrace him. The chopper that Bloodsport asked for soon arrives, and while traveling back, Sebastian makes himself comfortable on Bloodsport's lap, and Bloodsport pets him for the first time. Pre-credits reveal that Weasel is still alive and is seen running into the jungle of Corto Maltese. Post-credits show Waller's subordinates accompanying a doctor to a room where they find that Peacemaker is still alive because Waller needs him to save the world. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.